You're probably watching this because belly fat has been the most frustrating part of your body to change. You might lose weight from your face, your arms, even your legs, but your stomach just refuses to cooperate. Or maybe you've followed diets perfectly, worked out consistently, and still nothing happens around your midsection. This is where people get confused, discouraged, and start blaming themselves. And I want you to know right away, this is not because you're lazy or undisciplined. In this video, I want to explain the whole picture. Not just quick tips or surface-level advice, but what's actually happening inside your body and why belly fat behaves differently. As we move through this, things that once felt random or unfair will start to make sense. And once they make sense, you can finally change them. There's one core rule we need to establish early, because everything else depends on it. Belly fat is not just extra calories. Belly fat is hormonally protected fat. I'll say it again because this is important. Belly fat is hormonally protected fat. Your body holds onto it on purpose under certain conditions. Until those conditions change, fat loss in that area will always feel slow or impossible, no matter how hard you try. The first major reason belly fat doesn't burn is chronically high insulin, and this is where most people unknowingly get stuck. Insulin is the hormone that decides whether your body stores fat or burns fat. When insulin is high, fat burning is turned off, and belly fat is especially sensitive to this. Most people think insulin only spikes if they eat sugar or junk food, but in real life, insulin stays elevated from constant eating, refined carbohydrates, sweetened drinks, protein bars, flavored coffees, and even coffee snacks. I've worked with people who truly believed they were eating clean, but their insulin never had a chance to come down because they were eating every 2 to 3 hours. This matters because belly fat cells have more insulin receptors than fat cells elsewhere. That means when insulin is present, belly fat locks itself in more aggressively. This is why weight often comes off everywhere else first. The solution here is not starvation. It's creating enough space between meals so insulin can drop and your body can finally access stored fat. The next major blocker is chronic stress, and this is why people get even more confused. Stress raises cortisol. Cortisol is meant to help you survive short-term threats, but when it stays high for weeks or months, it signals your body to conserve energy. And the safest place to store that energy is the abdomen. This is where people think they need more discipline, when what they actually need is nervous system recovery. I see this all the time with people who train intensely, work long hours, sleep poorly, and constantly feel wired but tired. Their body isn't resisting fat loss. It's protecting itself. Cortisol also raises blood sugar, which raises insulin, creating a loop that keeps belly fat in place. This is why excessive cardio or extreme workouts can sometimes make belly fat worse, especially when recovery is poor. This is important because pushing harder is not always the answer. The third thing that blocks belly fat loss is poor sleep, and this is where the system really starts to break down. Sleep is when your body resets hormones like insulin, cortisol, growth hormone, and leptin. If sleep is short or inconsistent, your body becomes more insulin resistant, meaning it needs more insulin to process the same food. I once worked with someone who did everything right during the day: clean meals, daily movement, strength training, but slept 5 hours a night. When sleep improved, belly fat started coming off without changing anything else. This is important because lack of sleep directly increases hunger hormones and lowers satiety hormones. Cravings after poor sleep are not a lack of willpower. They're a biological response. This is where popular advice causes damage. People are told fat loss is about discipline, but discipline cannot override biology forever. Hormones always win. The next piece of the puzzle is muscle, and this is where people misunderstand exercise. Muscle is not just about strength or appearance. Muscle is your largest metabolic organ. The more muscle you have, the more glucose your body can store safely without needing large insulin spikes. This is why strength training is so powerful for belly fat. Cardio burns calories, but muscle changes how your body handles fuel. When muscle mass increases, insulin sensitivity improves, meaning less fat is pushed into storage, especially around the stomach. This is also why early progress often doesn't show up on the scale. You might feel stronger, have fewer cravings, better energy, and better mood before you see visible changes. This is important. Those internal improvements mean the system is healing. The fifth major blocker is digestion and inflammation, and this is rarely explained clearly. Chronic gut irritation keeps your immune system activated, which raises cortisol and disrupts insulin signaling. When the body senses inflammation, it prioritizes survival, not fat loss. Ultra-processed foods, alcohol, seed oils, and constant grazing irritate the gut over time. Even foods considered healthy can cause issues if digestion is weak. This is why some people feel bloated, inflamed, and stuck around the midsection despite eating right. Fixing this doesn't require extreme restriction. It requires predictable meals, enough protein, and time between eating to allow the gut to recover. Often, bloating and discomfort improve long before visual fat loss happens, which is a good sign that things are moving in the right direction. Now let's zoom out, because this is where everything connects. Belly fat is usually a symptom of insulin resistance and metabolic stress. Your body is responding logically to the signals it's receiving. High insulin, high stress, poor sleep, low muscle mass, and chronic inflammation all push the body toward fat storage. When you reverse those signals, the body responds. Not overnight, but consistently. This is where people misjudge progress. They expect visual change first, but real change starts internally. Blood sugar stabilizes, hunger becomes manageable, energy improves, mood steadies. Then belly fat begins to release. This is why spot reduction doesn't work. You don't attack belly fat directly. You change the internal environment that forces your body to hold onto it. Once that environment changes, belly fat is no longer protected. When this approach is done correctly, it's not extreme or punishing. It's calm, methodical, and sustainable. You're no longer fighting your body, you're supporting it. And that's when belly fat loss stops feeling mysterious and starts becoming predictable. Your body is always responding to signals. Change the signals and the results will follow.